Hey guys, it's Muffin. And recently I got coached in Flexibly by my good friend TALOS. One of my biggest problems in TFT is not really knowing when to like pivot out of a comp. Sometimes I get tunnel vision and I just want to, like I've got 4 challengers on my board. I have to grab every challenger I see and ignore anything else in my shop. I feel like that's probably relatable for most people in lower elo, like anything plat and below, or even maybe some diamond players. And flex play is something kind of a word that we hear thrown out into the universe, and maybe we try and learn how to do it, but it's not exactly a clear road on how to do it. So we stick to our comps. I love my Jhins, I love my Yones. I have a friend named Marcus who plays Ligma every game, I swear. Sometimes he gets a second, but is normally a 5th or a 6th, let's be honest. And even Mortog himself has said that flex play is probably the best way to climb. So Talos hit me up. He said he had a really good game where he pivoted from a challenger to a Jhin build, and just him walking through it has really helped me develop my flexible play style a little bit more, which you'll see in a couple of videos that are coming out soon. But I thought that this was the instigator for me, and maybe it could help you guys out. So if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to hit that like button below, just so I know to make more of this in the future. I've got even some friends in like Diamond or Challenger that I could ask to come onto the channel, and maybe we all get a little bit of LP out of it. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoy the video, and good luck on your games.
So first things first, though, what you need to do is get yourself to Pixie Mander, because that's the best little legend, and that's how you win. So First
yeah,
carousel.
that's exactly how you win.
One of the biggest things I do, because I play a lot of AD comps, like that's what I'm most comfortable with. So
Same.
I usually try to go for like a bow or a sword start. So we grab the bow here. It's on an Ezreal. So this is actually works really well for us because Ezreal like is a good innovator start. So we might be able to do that or pull that off. So honestly, as flex play goes, you want to pick up basically whatever pairs you get off the rip, because getting 2 stars early is like the big thing. First augments here are kind of bad. It's either force ourselves into Chemtech, force ourselves into Syndicate, both of which aren't great at silver tier.
Yeah,
or just
and
run,
I do way too
real
often.
time.
I need to stop flexing
Yeah.
instantly into Syndicate.
So like it's fine if you already have like a really powerful start for that. So if like you got like a Shaco off a creep round and you already have like the Syndicate on board, then maybe like this is a viable thing. We have Alawi and a random friggin' Ezreal. So like Thrill the Hunt is what we're gonna take here. Like 300 health is actually a lot more than you think, because it doesn't seem like a big number, but it's actually like half of a health bar for most of your units. And so we got the Alawi. We're gonna grab the Kassadin. Like I said, pairs are where it's at. So ultimately, if we get a Kassadin next round, we have a 2-star. We can throw in a 3rd unit that'll actually do some damage. Our items aren't ideal right now. We can make a Sunfire, a ZZ Rot, or a Titans, which individually are like okay items, but like not like slam worthy pretty early on. But we do grab a bunch of units. So here's what I'm thinking at this point is this might be a challenger game, because we got 2 Camille's in shop. We have a Quinn, already have like the starts to potential Yone items. We also have a Warwick. So like we have like a very powerful Clockwork Challenger opener. We're not able to push 4 here because of the amount of units that we hit, but because we hit the upgrades on the 2-star units, and we're going to make the Sunfire here to help that just in case our opponent leveled to 4. Luckily they didn't. So we're at no synergies, but you see the healing there. This is Thrill the Hunt. Like that's like half the health bar there. The problem here is Shaco's ability. It makes him untargetable. So Kassadin went over to the phony frontline there, which feels really bad. So if it wasn't for the target dummies, we would have won that. Honestly, though, a 1-unit loss this early in the game is not too bad, because we're able to get an earlier pick, get those items. Because if we are going challenger here, we do want those Yone items pretty heavily.
Do you
right
really
now,
care about win streaking or lose streaking?
To an extent, like if you can help like one or the other comfortably, it is better and beneficial to make those econ breakpoints. Honestly, don't worry about too much until you start like a win streak of 2 or a lose streak of 2. Then you can start to worry about it more, because once you have a pattern, then you can work off of that. So right now we're flip-flopping. So we just lost the last one by 1, but then we won this one. So we're not making those econ streak goals, but honestly, we're saving health here. Like this challenger opener is just,
you are
like,
actually
we have
getting
all
very
2 stars.
lucky.
Like we're getting extremely lucky because I'm not rolling down either. Like I'm just buying the units. So we have full 2 stars. We have an okay front line. Our synergies are lackluster, but honestly, at this point, another big thing that we can hit, especially once we hit 5, which is why I pre-level here, is Mercenary. So we can hit a Misfortune or a Gangplank in our next shot potentially, and that's what we're going for, is to be able to get econ breakpoint that way rather than the win or loss streak.
Yeah.
So like I was originally going for the Rod there to make a Rage Blade, but we can grab this cloak here. Runan's still a very like perfect item for Yone. If we get a Samira, so it's like okay, so let's just put that in as our our other unit here for now. It's just, we just keep hitting is the thing. So make the Runans, because like, okay, this is potentially going to be a Yone game. We can use the Runans for other carries anyways later, but it's good to get some items in early, maintain our win streak. So like I was mentioning before, we have that win streak of 2 already. Let's continue that.
So you'll use Quinn as an item carry? That actually just like baffled me.
Yeah, Quinn is not bad as an item carry, especially the fact that we have the Challenger and we hit the Mercenary there with Gangplank. So we make Econ Breakpoint, we get rid of the random, oh god.
Oh, Caitlyn,
right. Got her name. Don't use Caitlyn a lot. Quinn carry is fine. It's not like the ideal here, because realistically Warwick would be the better carry.
Yeah, but Warwick's the one I normally use. Do you, if you go like say 6 Challenger, do you like remove Quinn for like a Kaisa, or, well, I guess you would replace
yeah,
with
so like
Yone.
Quinn, honestly, Quinn late game, the only use for Quinn late game is the disarm.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's not a huge thing. Like she's sold in order to be an item carry early. It all depends on like what you have early too is part of it.
You didn't even buy the Warwick there.
No. Honestly, though, like there's gonna be a couple mistakes here, and it's partly due to my blindness, because I sometimes, and by sometimes I mean a lot of the time, miss things in shop.
Okay, so, okay. I didn't know if that was like a decision or if
yeah,
that
I'm pretty
was just
notorious
like
for that. But so I slammed the chain vest and the gloves just randomly on units there. I know I'm gonna sell Alawi and Gangplank later, so might as well get the benefit of the items there.
Because you'll move probably to what, like a Braum Leona frontline.
Because because you want Leona for Academy for Yone, and then Braum is just one of the best bodyguards, if not just one of the best frontline units. Period.
Yeah, his CC is so good.
Yeah, so like the CC is good. The armor bonus he gets from bodyguard, the fact that bodyguard's taunt, like there's so many good things about Braum. So we put in a Kog'Maw here, twin shot. We get to level 6. We want to maintain our win streak because we're 5 streaking right now, which is the maximum bonus you can get. So mutants execute, which is good, but like the fact that we don't have support for it by level 6 already is it's not a huge thing that we can transition into. Like we haven't seen a Malzahar, we haven't seen a Cho'Gath too, especially with the amount of reroll people that's going on right now. Because the reroll comp steals all of the Kog'Maws. So it's not a huge thing to worry about right now. That, and we're pretty invested in Challenger. So honestly, we're just trying to play best board, continue our win streak. That's going to make us a bunch of money. Like we're level 6 already, so we're outpacing the entire lobby. We have all of the 2-star upgrades because we high rolled out of No Tomorrow. So we're making extra money off of Gangplank. We're making extra money off of the Mercenary chest. Like it's not a lot, but like it makes a difference.
Plus, yeah, it's like at least 1 coin a turn, right?
Yeah, so 1 coin a turn there. More than likely 1 coin a turn with Gangplank, and then also the win streak. So that's just, it's so good. All right, so second augment choice, 3/3. So Twin Shot Heart, Makeshift Armor, Exiles. Twin Shot Heart, not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a hard pivot.
Yeah, and realistically, it's not gonna happen. Like if we high rolled at Urgot, then maybe. So Makeshift Armor is good, but at silver tier, it's not a lot. It's not gonna make a huge difference. That, and we already made a Sunfire Cape. So the fact that one of our frontline units already has an item, so they're not gonna get the bonus from this. So it's better off to just make defensive items rather than to go this route. But we also have another defensive augment here, which is what we're going to go with. So the one thing with Exiles that a lot of people do, and we're going to see it here because I do it at the beginning, but later in the game I switch it up, is with Exiles, a lot of people feel that they need to see the benefit on every single unit. Otherwise, they're not going to, like they're playing wrong, or they feel like they're playing wrong. So we're going to do that early.
And I think it does work for some comps, like you can do that. I think Challenger, you can have them all kind of not standing next to each other. Jhin, no, not 0% if you do go Jhin, because he's just the easiest person to get with an assassin or
and
like a lucky
that's gonna be part of our thing, and that's why there's gonna be some teachable moments with this game. It's level 6, so we only have a 5% chance to roll 4 cross units, and then in the same shop we see a Jhin and an Orianna. Like this is like,
that's that sniper clockwork at work.
So I'm seeing this and I'm like, okay, well this is just a Jhin game. Like at this point I'm deciding I'm gonna pivot. We have okay items. We have a glove right now. We can make an IE. We can make a Last Whisper potentially. Runan's not great with Jhin, but like still functional, so it's not too bad. So we're gonna pick up
what is your best in slot for Jhin? Because I've heard so many things, and a lot of people do say Runans.
Ideally is going to be your Infinity Edge, Giant Slayer, and Last Whisper.
Okay,
but you do have other things that do work well with him. So like Deathblade, Runans, because Runans is based off of the damage dealt per the shot, and Runans does actually hit off of Jin's ult. Runan extra bolt that fires does hit other units because Jhin just empowers his shots. It's not an actual ability cast shot.
Yeah, kind of like Shaco.
So it does actually, so it does actually affect the Runan's ability to proc off of that. So it does still provide extra damage, which is still good. So you see me reposition here. This is to take effect for the Exiles bonus. So this is what most people do. So right now for us, we haven't seen like any assassin players other than that one Shaco we ran into earlier. So it's not a huge deal. Jin's not our primary focus right now anyways. He's just a Jhin 1. So he's just kind of here. He still does a lot of damage. Like Jhin 1 without items still deals a lot of damage. Like you see right there, like he's second on the list. Like he's beating out Alawi, who's both a 2-star and has the Sunfire Cape damage. So the fact that like a random 1-star is doing more than that means that like he's still worth.
Yeah, I think that Jhin is probably right now one of like the sleeper comps that most of the time I don't see anyone going him, and he's very good. Like,
but honestly, like Jin's still good. It's just he's a slow start, and especially with his fixed attack speed. Is if the rest of your lobby has fast attacks or you have no way to like truly defend Jhin, is he doesn't work. And then if there's like a huge slew of assassins in the lobby, like it's not a good comp to go. But we have the front line for him. We have defensiveness. We are win streaking right now. So like we have a win streak of 8 currently at this point. So like right now, like he's okay to go that, and we're like running into big bulky comps because there's a couple of reroll comps in here. So like to be able to pierce through the front line and get to that back line is going to be big, and that's what Jhin primarily focuses on. Like what makes Jhin good is he can be at a safe distance from the damage, but also get to that back line at the same time. Right. So like that's a big one there. So we add in sniper as well. So this should also boost his damage, and then we actually level up. We want to maintain this win streak because right now, like we're maintaining as much health as possible. Like we're currently 20 health ahead of the next place person, Big Noodle Man. Big name to remember. We'll keep an eye on Big Noodle Man for later because everyone else like they're losing a lot of health. So actually, here we go. A Big Noodle Man. So he's going Challenger. Right now he has 6 Challenger because he has Challenger Heart. He has the On Guard, which is the disarm. So you see a lot of times like our units just stop, which is...
Does On Guard work with Yone ult?
Yes.
Okay.
So it does not work with Runan's, but any damage. So Yone hits a second unit. Fiora ultimate, if she dashes over to another target during it, will hit for disarm as well. So those are a couple big ones. And then Kaisa later with her ultimate as well. So at this point, we're going Jhin. Like this is the mindset at this point. Like we're going to get rid of the Challengers. We're going to keep Camille because Clockwork's good. But I want to pick up a bodyguard front line. So we pick up this Leona because we're still able to keep our 50 econ at level 7 for Wolves here, but also be able to pick that up, which is going to help us later. So right now, our items, not the greatest. We have the Infinity Edge, so we're going to make that because Jhin works really well. His 4th shot on his ability always crits, but the fact that we can get all of his abilities to crit, and the fact that critical hits are actually a percentage-based multiplier, and the fact that Jhin scales his attack damage even higher with attack speed, it starts to multiply itself very well in our favor. We also found the Braum here, which is insane. Like we're level 7,
the
which
Braum was
does make
really
sense.
lucky.
But like we found the Braum, so we have the 2 bodyguard already. We're gonna put the Sunfire on Braum because honestly we want to make Leona kind of the primary tank is the goal. She is tankier than Braum, but I feel Braum with the Sunfire, like we can just put that on him for now. We have the items to make a Morelos here. We're probably gonna opt not to do that because the fact that we already have anti-healing to a certain degree. This comp here, Tixie actually is going to body us. This is where we lose our win streak. It's unfortunate, but this is where Exiles positioning actually matters. So they have the Blitzcrank to pull the corner. So having Jhin in the corner is not great. It pulled the MF, so it actually helped us there by not pulling the Jhin. But the fact they also have Assassin is like, okay, so this is not a great time. But we're going to push level here. We're going to get the Clockwork in because we have 4 Clockwork available because we found the Zillion. We're going to still keep Exiles kind of around because we just faced that Assassin player and there's no one else playing Assassins. So we're not too worried about it right now until stage 5. So right now it's still beneficial to get full benefit of the Exile bonus. So reroll person hit finally, but here's the huge benefit of Jhin. He's just
he shreds
insane.
protect.
He's insane. Even though that they have a Bramble Vest to ignore the crit damage, it still doesn't matter. So you see me there. I checked the Socialite spot. It's bad. It's where the Zillion's sitting, which is not anywhere near where we want it to be. So it's not a good time. So we're level 8 though, so we can start rolling down and we can just get whatever we want. So we find the Orianna upgrade. We're considering the Jinx here. Like realistically, if we had the support for it, if we had transitioned to twin shot, like this would be a confirmed, like for sure pickup, but we decide against it because it's just not worth it at this point. Realistically, at this point, like we're level 8, we still have a little bit of gold, but we want to find our upgrades. Jhin primarily. The Runance is going to go over to him at some point. Misfortune, Sniper is a weird one, whereas Misfortune might still be in for a little bit, but in my mind, I feel Sniper is not great. It's just better to have other
you
things.
Completely forgo Sniper?
I usually forgo Sniper. So it's usually better
That's
to
the
have
most baffling to me. Okay.
Yeah. So you have the 4 Clockwork, you have the Orianna. It's better to go Enchanter, especially because there's so many units that are full magic. I'm pretty sure this game, I think we still do keep the Misfortune. We'll see here later on, but
so
in
do
a
you
lot of
normally
cases,
go like 3 Enchanter and 4 Clockwork, or like 2 Enchanter?
Yeah, 2 or 3 Enchanter. You normally get the Janna in there for the pushback on the assassins, but also just the healing.
Yeah.
Orianna is just so good. Naturally, you just find those 2 at the very least, and then potentially get in like Lulu, or depending on socialite spot, you can get a Taric in.
Is there ever like a point to itemizing Jaina, or do you just put them all your items on Orianna?
It depends on the items, because Orianna's really good with items. It's just she doesn't cast very often. Janna is more likely to cast more. All right.
There's your mercenary soul.
Here's the thing. So yeah, like there's Mercenary Soul, and honestly, I did consider this because then we can like keep Mercenary, we can get like a Tahm Kench later, and then just go 5 Mercenary and keep basically our entire board as is. Because right now we have the Misfortune. So yeah, we have the Quinn and we have the Misfortune. But realistically, we want the Quinn to go anyways because we want the Runance off of her. So
am I crazy or is it grab bag?
So we actually take High Roller here. So this is actually a nice teachable moment because Loaded Dice is only on Prismatic now for very good reason, because Loaded Dice is insanely strong. We do take Loaded Dice here, but item grab bag, really nice. It's just the fact that you don't get the Reforger from the grab bag anymore makes it less worthwhile, because you get 2 random items that may or may not actually work for you.
True.
So there's potential that we might just get like AP items and are like mostly AD comp, which isn't great. So we're going to take Loaded Dice here. So with Loaded Dice, the ideal situation for it is to push level 9 and use it to 3-star your 4-cost unit. We make the mistake, we're going to use it at level 8 here because we use it almost right away, mostly because I want to maintain health here. So I want the Jhin upgrade. So that's the big one. You know so first one here, we use it on the Jhin, and then I'm like, oh, wait. At this point, my brain is like, oh, right, we're going to get all the sniper units as well, because we still have a high chance at those. So the Misfortune, the Shtana, the random Camille that we have. But like we at this point, it's like, okay, interesting. And then I'm also considering this Orianna that's in shop as well. But like hemming high, decide against it for this Orianna, because like realistically, are we going to 3-star Orianna? Maybe not. Use the Loaded Dice on Orianna instead. So this is a huge mistake here. So first, I'm using the Loaded Dice at level 8, which don't do. Just don't. It's bad. You're gonna get all of your 3-cost, and then even still have a decent chance at like those 2 and 1-cost units. Also, I used it on the Orianna. So why am I doing it here? So we grab the Oriannas. We're gonna still continue on that. We find the Jhin upgrade. Luckily, we have 2 Orianna 2s, which is like, okay, so maybe we're going Orianna 3, because Orianna 3 is still good. Like, she has a lot of health. She's going to cast multiple times because she's so healthy. And she actually deals a lot of damage, like, surprisingly enough. It's just most people don't see her damage because she only casts once in an entire game. Big Noodle Man, back again.
Our
now with Prismatic. Board. Yeah, so our full Challenger board. He has Thrill the Hunt here. Like I said previously, he had the Challenger Heart and the Unguard. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Challenger on board, which is very scary. Very
and
scary.
An itemized Kai'Sa.
Yeah, so itemized Kai'Sa, like the ideals items on Yone as well. He has the Disarm. He has Thrill the Hunt at Prismatic is 900 health on kill. It's so much. So we still beat Big Noodle Man though. Like that's surprising. So because 8 Challenger is very, very good. Even after the most recent nerf, it is still very powerful because it's still 130% attack speed down from 145.
Yeah.
The Challenger's dash to the next target, they still get double that, so 260% attack speed. But also the fact that they also have the Disarm, which slows down our board significantly.
But you kept your Jhin all cozied up, so he can't really get disarmed.
So that's the big thing on what you should do with Exiles. So you see, my front line is very spaced out. So I have the Braum, Leona, and Camille all separated, so they're gaining the benefit of Exiles. The Zillion's gaining the benefit of Exiles, and then I'm still protecting the Jhin from those assassins. assassins from the Yone as well, realistically, because Yone sends his clone across, but because I have 3 ranged units that aren't going to move in front of the Jhin, is Yone will not hit the Jhin either, which is a really nice aspect there. So we make the Rabadons on Ori with the potential for a 3-star Ori. Rabadons on her is actually really nice because she's going to hit multiple units with her ability, even if she only casts once, and it's actually going to be a lot more damage than you think. And the fact that she has 4 clockwork means that we still have a chance at a second cast. It's not a for sure, but it's a nice thing. The other thing we're going to make here, because we have a sword, we're going to make a Zeke's Herald here. So you may be thinking, Zeke's Herald, why are you trying to give attack speed to Jhin? Well, Jhin may not get attack speed.
His AD.
But yeah, like we're going to give AD to him instead because it's percentage based off of that. So Zeke's Herald is, I believe, 30% attack speed. So that gives Jhin, because it's every 1% of attack speed, he gets a set amount of attack damage. So we end up getting, I think it's 0.8 is the ratio, like a 1 to 0.8 ratio. So we end up getting an additional like 24 attack damage just from Zeke's alone. Plus we get the added attack speed bonus on our other units. So having that plus the 4 clockwork is really nice. We end up popping off the items here because we didn't get an item to work with the glove. So we don't want the uncompleted item on Jhin. We'd rather have full completed because we're going to get completed items on next carousel and dragon.
That's so really smart because my dumbass would have popped it off of Quinn.
No, yeah, because we're going to be ending up selling things. Like Quinn's only here for the disarm, realistically, at this point, which is still really good because a lot of the backlines here, so you see in this backline, you have all these Rage Blade units because we have multiple reroll comps, or like we have this one here, which is a mutant comp. So this Kog'Maw in the back is always going to be the target of Quinn disarm, and the fact that their Jhin is next to it works wonders for us because Quinn disarm is AoE based. So it's always going to hit that backline carry unit, which just gives our Jhin more time to wind up, and he's going to cast and miss like every shot, but realistically like clear out the rest of the team there. So we're back on that win streak again, though.
I really like that name, Tolkien Attic. That's a cool one.
But everyone's still in the game here. So we have 8 people still in the game. Everyone else is still finding their upgrades, but like we have double the amount of health as the next person, and like some people are just leveling to 7 for the first time, and those are most likely the reroll people. So like we still have a huge like one up here. We still have full econ and we're win streaking. So this is the point in the game where it's like, okay, we're definitely able to make level 9 here because of the amount of health and the amount of gold we have. So keep your econ at this point. Otherwise, don't be afraid to spend it. That's gonna be another big one.
Yeah, because 5-1, 5-2 is when a lot of people like roll down for like their 2-star forecast, right?
But that's the big thing is that we already have our upgrades. So the thing that happened here with this, so the reroll comp already naturally has 2 mutant with Kog'Maw and Kassadin. This person also found a level 7 Kaisa, so they have 3 mutant, and if you remember from earlier, mutant was execute.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is this person also got the mutant soul from the prismatic augment. So they have 2 mutant emblems that they put on their units. So that's what you see on there and there. Yeah. So they also have true damage, which is
and
why
our front line's still all 1-star.
Yes.
For the most
so
part.
Brom's still 1-star, Leona's still 1-star, and we just have a random Camille. So it's very quick for a 3-star team front line to just burn that down very quickly. And another thing, I actually learned this more recently. So it wasn't in this game, but it's actually in another game. That Sunfire Cape actually procs execute as well. So this Kassadin having Sunfire in the front line actually procs execute once it ticks for that burn damage. So it actually has an extra opportunity to execute as well. So like there's 6 different sources happening for potential execute on a target.
And it's just anyone who drops below what, 40 health, or is it 20 health?
It's 20%, I think.
20%.
Which is still like on a 1-star unit, like our
that's
Braum
like
or
saying
Leona,
you have 20% less health is pretty much what it says. Just all your units suddenly have 20% less health.
But yeah, like you just saw me check there. So we have we go over to the person, so Gios that we just lost to. We check their mutant. So yeah, so it's 20% below for execute, and then at 5 mutant, which is what they have because of the emblems, is 40% of their damage is true damage. So it bypasses the armor gain for the bodyguard. It bypasses all of our
any enchanter,
extra defenses, enchanters, like everything. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not great for us. That, and we don't have enchanter yet, which is very unfortunate at this point. But
he also has a very weak Kog'Maw, and his Kaisa also doesn't have very good like any damage items.
So I make the decision here, executive choice. We had enough money at that point. We just went straight to 9. We had an Ori 2 that was able to be put in. We have the Jace in this backline here that we picked up earlier. That's going to give us the Transformer on the backline. So the fact that we have...
Are you telling me you had a Akali in your shop and didn't instantly transition into Socialite Akali?
Yeah, I'll get right on that. Especially with these absolutely fantastic Akali items I have. Actually,
it would have been fine.
It would have been fine because I had the Infinity Edge, the Rabadons, so like it would have been potentially okay, but like Akali 1 versus this board right now, not worth.
Nah, because then you get put in the Clapio too. It's Akali Clapio.
Yeah,
Clapio.
I would say before they got nerfed.
I still see them in every lobby though. Literally every lobby someone plays a Clapio. Sometimes they go 8th, sometimes they go like 3rd. Never a 1st, ever.
So we're up against Big Noodle Man again, our challenger friend. He has the Kaisa upgrade, who now has a Shojin. So Shojin, Hodge, and Jewel Gauntlet. Has Clockwork now with the Orianna in the back line, because they got to level 8. So they're 2 Clockwork. They have all their upgrades because Fiora's upgraded, Kaisa's upgraded, Yone's still kind of kicking around. So he is very strong right now, like as they spear their way. And like I mentioned earlier, Quinn, very good late game for disarm, because her AoE, her disarm AoEs. So actually disarms our entire backline with the additional on guard, which disarms again, because it's a separate disarm. So it actually takes out our backline because they're able to just rush the backline completely as part of that. So stage 5 carousel, there's not very many good items for us here, and realistically we're last pick anyways, so there's not a whole lot of options.
Shroud.
Yeah, so Shroud is what we pick here. This Yumi's probably not making it into the comp at all, because like Yumi's okay, but like a random 1-star Yumi right now and like without extra synergies isn't great. Here's another mistake that I do though. You never want to put something you want to move like Zephyr or Shroud onto a statically placed unit that has something like Zeke's or Locket. So for my intended purposes, it's not bad, because the thought process here is that we want to Shroud if it's on the same side as us, because we want Jhin to have enough time to ramp up to take down those units before they get to the backline, because they're closer. And then if they're on the opposite side, it's fine because Jin's going to take them out anyways. So realistically, it's okay here, but in a perfect world, it should have went on like Zillion or the second Orianna, so that you can move them around from side to side, or even the Camille potentially, is to be able to have that flexibility to move it around. Because right now, like I'm not going to be able to move the Shroud around. It's just going to be next to our Jhin, because we want that Zeke's attack bonus on Jhin, and then attack speed on the Jace.
Now here's a question: would it ever be swap like the Jace and the or swap put the Death Cap Camille? I mean, shit, my words are not working. Is it ever put the Death Cap Orianna next to the Misfortune, and then put something else next to Zillion?
Theoretically, yes. Right now, because we have Jace, because the benefit of Jace backline, because we want the Zeke bonus to go on Jhin for sure, because the attack damage that bonus that he gets from it. But then also Jace, because Jace is beneficial here because of the transform line that he does when he's back row. Is that because that's benefiting our Misfortune, our Jhin, and the second Orianna for extra damage on top of that.
But couldn't you just put him where the second Orianna is?
Realistically, yes, but we want him to have attack speed because he's only getting Clockwork. So to have him cast multiple times, even as a 1-star, is just very beneficial, because Orianna's already getting a lot of attack speed from 4 Clockwork anyways. And giving her 30% from Zeke's isn't as good as it could be.
Fair enough, I'll accept that argument.
So we're going to start picking up Jins here, because realistically, if we can 3-star a Jhin or 3-star Orianna, like those are the big next things, other than upgrading our front line, because
which is all still 1-stars.
Which is all still 1-star, and it's actually gonna be 1-star for a bit because we don't find the upgrades for a while, but it's probably fine.
Yeah, luckily you just do enough damage that it doesn't matter. The best defense is a good offense. Doesn't matter.
So you see here against the Chemtech unit, the Shroud hits their entire team. That's the main perk that I want to happen. Is I want the units that are getting close to Jhin to be hindered in some way. So we roll and we see another Jhin. So we're gonna get like forego the Jace 2, because Jace, he's just kind of hanging out. But Jhin 3 is gonna win us this game. Jace 2 would keep us in the top 4. Granted, we're just staying in the top 4 anyways. And even from the damage charts there, you saw briefly, it goes Jhin, Orianna, then Jace. So Orianna, that's from one cast of Orianna. Is that like she's almost dealing as much damage as Jace from that last round against the Chemtech. That's one cast with Rabadons. Like she's surprisingly like a heavy hitter.
It's kind of surprising how much AD the other Orianna got.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of her damage is going to be AD because she takes so long to cast, and the fact that she's out in the middle of nowhere, she's mostly used for a distraction while Jhin charges up, but also a depending on if there's still like Blitzcrank in the lobbies, things like that. She's another potential target for Blitzcrank, which will keep our Jhin hopefully safer because we have him cornered right now, which is not a great place for Jhin to be. And we're gonna see this in a couple rounds. Is the Blitzcrank person still in the lobby? I haven't scouted in a
Legit?
while. I've made the mistake. I've made the mistake of not scouting and then keeping this Jhin cornered without a QSS or without Banshees. And that's another big teachable moment. Is corners are bad. Make sure you do not have a Blitzcrank player in the lobby if you're gonna do this. That or have something that's gonna block the Blitzcrank hook. Either have a QSS on the unit. Granted, on Jhin, QSS is kind of a grief because it's a waste of an item slot. It's better to have, like, if we had a Banshee's Claw on the Misfortune here. So that would be another potential item we could have made instead of the Zeke's, because we had a belt and a glove. We could have made Banshee's Claw on the Misfortune here, and then Jhin would have been easily safe in the corner. It would have been fine, but mistakes were made. That's Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank 3 with all these assassins. Our Jin's gonna have a bad day.
The second Ori did cast though. It didn't do much, but it was cool.
No, yeah, and that's the thing, is that Ori with no items doesn't do a whole lot. So you see the second Ori didn't actually cast. The first Ori did. 996.
I don't know how to read. I just saw the ball.
But
the
then
fact that
the
Braum
Ori
did the most damage in this.
Yeah, and that's only because of Sunfire. Because Sunfire is that big line there.
Yeah.
But the fact that we still have one star front lines, and then they have 3-star assassins, and we had Baz positioning against Blitzcrank, is going to make us rethink our life a little. And as you can see on the side here is, as I mentioned earlier, Big Noodle Man. Very keep an eye on him. And as you can see, 8 challenger win streaking. He hasn't lost a game in a while, and now we actually have less the health than him. This is a top 4 though, so we're not too worried at this point, because we're still, like, as in terms of the ranked situation, we're still climbing, and we're actually 2 away from Jhin 3 as it stands right now. So it's not, we're still in a really good position. If we hit that Jhin, like, we can still do really well.
That is a very unfortunate dragon item.
Yeah, we already have an Infinity Edge on Jhin. So we're actually going to be putting this on Jace here, because Jace is their other big damage unit at the moment, and his cast actually AoEs. So because it's another thing that empowers shots. So the fact that it AoEs, it still crits, which is still a nice thing as part of that. So we find the Braum. So we're gonna sell the Orianna here because it's not entirely worth to lock shop here, and we haven't seen another Orianna in ages. So it's not likely that we're going to see an Orianna, and realistically, because we're rolling at 0 gold constantly, it's more worth to worry about the Jhin now rather than the Orianna.
Yeah.
And to have a better frontline focus is going to be another big thing here. And you see that I'm moving. So we did just face the Blitzcrank guy, but because we're in a new stage now, we still have a chance that this first game is going to be against that person. And the fact that there's only 4 people left, it's still a high chance. So we move Jhin out of the corner for that reason and start to readjust to protect ourselves against the assassin. So we move Camille back. We have the second Jhin in the corner, and we move Braum to the center because we want him to be the main focus of receiving damage. So it's more likely for him to start taking the damage. But unfortunately, Tom Kench kind of just eats Braum there, which is not great. But second Jhin on the board helps us out a little bit, especially because we still have Thrill of the Hunt. We're actually keeping our healing here when we kill targets. We do win this. It is a Thrill of the Hunt difference there because of the extra 300 healing there, and the fact that we have second Jhin in there instead of second Orianna is what made the difference there, which is absolutely huge. So we readjust here again. So we put Misfortune in the corner because we want to shroud the back corner realistically here. So this guy here is one of our biggest problems right now, but we're going to move over to the other side because we just faced off against the Chemtech guy. It's not likely for us to face him again. So we want to hit the other side, which in this case is Big Noodle Man, who has a second. Yeah, so we and that's one of our big things is we want this Quinn to die because that's going to be our big thing that's actually hitting us hardest because we of our Jhin positioning is Quinn is always going to hit Jhin because we want to protect Jhin with the surrounding units, but because of clockwork and because the surrounding units are all getting attack speed, is Quinn ult is always going to hit that corner no matter what. So unless Jhin is isolated in a corner by himself, which is a big no-no when playing Jhin, you're going to get disarmed. So there's no way around that. So it's try to prevent that as much as possible. And as you saw there, we hit the Shroud. We almost killed the Quinn, but she still got the disarm off, which is unfortunate. But the other thing, we go to watch the other combat because they're both at such low health. One of them is getting out here. The big one for me is I want to see if this Blitzcrank player survives or not. Because if Blitzcrank is out of the game, we don't have to worry about corners anymore. So this is a big thing to keep in mind when playing units that like being in the far out corners like Jhin, or other units maybe like Lux or something, is that you see that. But now that Blitzcrank player is out, we don't have to worry about assassins. We don't have to worry about Blitzcrank. We still kind of clump up in the corner here because that's just the best thing for us to do. But you do see that we pick up the Janna's here. Realistically, it was a chance that we were going to put Janna in there, but it's also for the fact that 4-cost units, there's only 12 of each 4-cost unit in any of the shops. The chances of finding a 4-cost unit are greater, or at least for a more specific 4-cost unit, if you have other 4-cost units already purchased. So the other person, Big Noodle Man, already has the Yones, we have Jins, we have Orianas, we have the Jannas. There's a lot of 4-cost units out of the shop pool, so it makes us easier to find Jhin, which we do. We find the 3-star, big golden boy, but we're gonna pickle here. We have 8 out of 9 units here, but hey, we have this Lulu. Lulu's in the shop, which actually gives us Enchanter. Yeah, realistically, getting Enchanter here is not bad. And we Shroud the correct side because we predicted correctly for the Chemtech unit, because at least we're fighting the clone here, but we got the Shroud. And as you notice here, Jhin actually, why is Jhin attacking so fast? Jhin 3 actually has a fixed attack rate of 1.4 instead of his normal 0.9, which is another, like, that's one of Jin's big, like, 3-star perks, other than just straight up damage increase and health increase, is that he gets to attack fast now. He has learned the ways of speed, and now he's decimating. So especially when we kill our opponent fast there, so we want to go check, because right there again, Wannabe is actually low health there, so we want to check to see if they get knocked out or not, or whether or not if their positioning actually made a difference against the challenger player, which actually did. Wannabe's still in the game, and we know that we beat them, but they also beat the challenger player, which is huge for us because it takes the challenger player off their win streak, and we know we beat Wannabe because we just beat their clone. So it's a big win for us because it makes us easier for us to potentially win later, because this is what you should do at this point in the game, because we're like 1 or 2 matches away from the end of the game. So realistically, our big push right now is the only one that we can't beat, or we're not beating, is the challenger players. We grab the Frozen Heart here. We're gonna put it on our front line because we want to slow them down as much as possible. And Frozen Heart actually got a buff, so it's a 35% slowdown instead of a 25%, which is a lot bigger against those challenger units. And the fact that we know Big Noodle Man has 8 challenger and clockwork, so he already has a lot of attack speed, so trying to slow as much as possible is what's nice here. But we love the contrast though, this little Leona 1 in our front line with our Jhin 3 in the back line. Just yeah, so realistically we're likely to play against the challenger, so we're waiting for the clock to tick down a bit just in case they're scouting, which we see them there, so they scout slightly. We grab another Leona from shop here to get closer to the upgrade, but we're gonna move over slightly because we want to hit this Yone with the Shroud. So that's why we only move slightly. We don't hit though. We lose the 50-50 and actually fight against Wannabe here, which is not good for us because we wanted Wannabe to be in the game still because they beat the challenger player. But unfortunately, we're a little too strong and we knock them out. But Big Noodle Man also lost to whatever clone he fought. So he has 2 health left. We have 22 health. But as you see here, he just got the Yone 3, which is very, very scary. 8, yeah, so Yone 3 versus Jhin 3. They have double Runan's GA on the Yone as well. So Yone 3, that's going to come back with a vengeance, with 8 challenger, 2 clockwork. I am actually like afraid at this point of like, okay, what do I do here? I just need to win 1 combat, even if it's only by 1 unit, we win here. But we're at a point, we're at 6-6. We're at a point here where I'm allowed 1 loss, and then the next match is the deciding factor. So if I lose this next match here, then it goes to basically a 1v1 duel at that point, so to speak. So we're gonna see what happens here. Yeah, so we do have Rift Herald still after this, so that is our saving grace potentially if we lose here. But we just gotta try to protect Jhin as much as possible. So we move the Braum over. We want Frozen Heart in this corner because we want to slow down this corner as much as possible, especially because his Yone's there. So we shroud the Yone, we Frozen Heart the Yone. But the fact that Camille walks up is Yone was able to get his clone into the back corner there, which is not great. So we take a bunch of damage here. We're down to 6 HP. It's all or nothing. Rift Herald, give me a good item. It gives us a Death Blade, which is absolutely insane for Jhin. It's one of the perfect items for us to have here. Yeah, and we find the Leona upgrade, and we get the Leona. We roll once, we find the Leona upgrade, and we have the Death Blade, which is like at this point my heart is racing. This game is very stressful because it's all or nothing here. I really have nothing to find here, so like I'm rolling down. So we find the Janna, which is good for the pushback, as was mentioned earlier, and the Enchanter. We move her over so we don't have the Yone just stomping into the corner on us. But we don't find the Janna upgrade, which is unfortunate. But he's still in that position over in the corner there. So I flicks over very quickly there to go scout, but go back again. But he still had the Yone in that corner there. So we move over because that socialite spot is there. So it's very likely that he's going to keep Yone on the socialite spot. So we want to be as far away from that Yone as possible. Because at this point, we want Jhin to kill everything except for the Yone. So we want Yone to be as far away as possible to not hit Jhin, but we want Jhin to take as many units down with him as possible before going against the Yone. And then if the Yone gets some collateral damage there, it's fine. So we move over to the complete opposite side here. And you usually do this within like the last 5 seconds of the round, just in case if there's any people scouting. So we hit the Quinn with a Shroud. Our Jhin here is just going to start deleting units, deletes everything, just the Yone left. Yone is not enough to 1v8. So we end up taking. So like that's the big thing is positioning matters. So you saw that I lost with Jhin on the left, but I won with Jhin on the right. And that's a big thing, especially with higher level play, is being able to make those split decisions of what is going to win me the game, especially at this point in the game where it's confirmed the last round of combat. It's the last 1v1. What is going to be working best here? And then if it works, which in this case it did, that's what you need to do with it, right? But we take the W. Jin's doing this happy little dance there, and we are too. And that's the big thing you will start to notice more and more, especially as you get into higher ranks of play, because you have a lot more people that are more accustomed to this style of play, like what you saw in this game, is use your items early and often. Don't be afraid to slam items. Don't be afraid to push levels like I did to keep a win streak, because a lot of people, especially early on, are afraid to spend their money or afraid to use their items. So you see people that are first getting into TFT and their item bench is full, like they're losing a lot of health because they have units, but their opponents are using their items and they're not. So items, huge difference. Like it's not all about units, it's not all about synergies. Items make or break games, and honestly that's what flex playing is about, is what items do you get and what can I build off of this.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was a longer one. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It really helps me out, and I hope you all have yourself a great day and good luck on your games in the future. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.